Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Founders Table. My name is DeShaun Williams. As always, I'm your host. Today, we have Miss Paula Marie Norton on the show. Miss Paula Marie Norton is the founder of RevQ Systems and the Kitchen Design Girl, bringing more than 30 years of entrepreneurial and renovation industry experience to her work. Through RevQ Systems, she helps renovation, trade, and construction business owners detect revenue leaks, improve operations, and build businesses that create profit, control, and freedom. Her work is rooted in a simple belief: a business should work for the owner, not consume their life. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Paula Marie Norton. How are you doing today?
Hey, great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, first off, that bio. The business should always work for you and never, you should not, especially when it's your business, right?
Yes. So, so what that essentially means is that a lot of people think they want to go into a business and they're going to have that freedom, which is what we all want. However, when you get into a business, that's your baby. So you take it and you literally find yourself working more than you would if you were an employee somewhere. And we tend to want to go into it and really work and make our business succeed. And so 30 years in the kitchen design girl business and probably 5 with RevQ. I learned probably halfway through my 30-year experience that, okay, I'm working way too hard for a business that's supposed to be giving me freedom. And when I let go of that working hard, the business started to do what it was supposed to do. Once I let go of the reins a bit and delegated elsewhere, and then it became what it was supposed to.
Most definitely. And, one of the biggest things, and I've always said it because I have my own company, the Business Blueprint, and I founded my first company back in 2018 when I was 20. So I was always that person who was like, hustle, 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 hustle. Just because it looks busy doesn't mean that it's generating the income that you want, that you ultimately created it for. And it kind of it kind of defeats the purpose of why you started in the first place, right?
And that's it, exactly. But with that said, it's really hard to be that business owner and let go to let it work for you. And so that's something that took me years and years to learn and kind of navigate myself around it to realize, okay, yeah, now it took me a while, but I've got that recipe down now and I know how to make my business work for me.
Most definitely. And before I get into some of the other questions, if I know we all have different formulas for how we kind of came across understanding this business should work for me and not the other way around. What did that formula look like for you?
So I guess I just had to discover it and realize it first. And then I had to admit, like, okay, yes, this is not working out as a business owner. I could make more money going to work just at a normal place, be an employee for somebody. And I thought, no, that's not what I want because, well, first of all, I'm not the kind of person that can be chained to a desk. You might as well just time me up. I can't do it. And so when I realized I have to work for myself, I need my own business, but I thought I need to make a change in that I need to be able to turn it around so that I'm not working as hard as I am, and my revenue needs to match the work that I was putting in. So I thought the harder I work, the more my revenue is going to be, but that wasn't the case. And when I started to really look deep into that, I realized that was my mistake right there. And then I learned how to work smarter and more efficiently, which really turned everything around for me.
Absolutely. And you mentioning like working smarter, not harder. Like even in like full time job, I sit there and I think, man, I need to understand how to work smarter and not harder. But also in the business is the same way. Um, and you mentioned letting go of the reins of the business, and I think when and I think you will agree with this. Like when we, as you stated, when we first get started, it's our baby, and we just want to a lot of us we just want to do everything ourselves, and
And it's hard as somebody who's like an entrepreneurial spirit, you can't let go. It's so hard to let go. You know you have to, but to delegate it and to let go, it's like cutting the umbilical cord, if you will. And it's a hard thing to do because it's you've created it and you need to feel like you have to be part of every single moment of what you've created, which you see people doing stuff that you might hire or bring on to kind of do some of the things to take that workload away from you. For me, for example, I did that, but I would be over them. I'd be not micromanaging, but I'd be like, no, no, that's not how I would do it. Let's do this instead. And I was just working harder. I've had have employees and I was training them to do what I did, but it wasn't my way. So I kept going and it was just like a vicious circle of going around trying to, get things perfect, and it's never going to be perfect no matter what.
right. And that's perfect. As like that's a really great example of, yeah, we can train someone, but at the same time, we're like, no, this isn't the way I want it. This isn't the way I like it. And we're probably, as entrepreneurs, we're probably some of the pickiest people.
Yes.
And
Nobody can do it our way.
right. And even when we think that the person that we train is going to be good, we're like, no, it should look like this. And after a certain while, it's like, you know what? I'll take this. This is another task. And then like I said, it just becomes this cycle of, wow. And
Yeah.
now you just have this team and they're sitting there like, why am I here?
Exactly. Yeah. And as an owner, it's like, why am I paying you when I'm doing your job? So, it goes both ways there. And then I don't know how many times that I would hire somebody to do the work and I'd oversee it. And then they'd either be like, I'm here to help. You're not letting me help. Please let me help. I'd be, oh no, business is slow. So I would let them go. I would do it again. And it took me a while to kind of realize, no, stop that. They are doing a good job. They're getting the job done. They're doing what needs to be done. They aren't doing anything wrong. It's me. I was the problem. And it's when I realized that and I said, okay, I have to let go and I can't do it slowly. If I do it slowly, I'm never going to do it. So I just one day took that Band-Aid off and I actually let it happen. And I found people I can trust and people who knew, basically how I would like things to be. And that changed everything for me.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that we have to learn is to get out of our own way.
Yes, that's a great,
Sometimes,
great saying. Yes.
and sometimes we have to tell ourselves no. Just like a client will tell us no, we have to tell ourselves no. No, you can't do this. You hire somebody for this. Let
Yeah.
them do it.
It's very
And
difficult.
it is. It is very difficult. I truly know. And because I just hired a VA and it's like, and I have not gave them their first task yet. And I'm like,
That's a tough one. The first one's tough. I did it for, like I did it and then I'd say, no, it's not working out. No, this employee is not working out or this VA is not working out. And so, I'd start back over again and then I'd be back in that cycle again. And then I'd hire somebody and then I'd let them go. And it just really, you have to let go. I can't stress that enough. As hard as it is, and as much as we want to take that on, you have to let go. You have
yeah,
to trust yourself that you built your business. You've trained somebody that you can know and trust. Trust yourself enough and trust your business enough to know that that person can do it. It'll never be
absolutely.
perfect. It'll never be to our standards, but you know what? It if you have the right person in place, it can definitely help be worth it.
Yes, most definitely. So, I want to go to the next question. And that question is, we've kind of already discussed it, but I would love for you to go more in depth um, with what it is that your company do and who does it serve and what problem does it solve. But also, I'm kind of add on to this question. How did this business idea come across?
So for me, I have always had the need to be making money. from a very, very young age. I'm pretty sure I was born that way. And, to the point that where I grew up, we had a backfield, and our backfield was full of blueberries. I don't know if you have blueberries where you are, but here I'm in Canada, and we have this big blueberry field in well, when I was growing up. And every time I would open up my patio door, I would see and smell the blueberries. And this might sound horrible, but I thought, I smell money. And I would go and I'd pick these blueberries and I would sell them. And I sold like a basket of blueberries and I made like, I don't know, back then $4 or $5. And then I realized who am I selling them to is just like people, homeowners, whatever. And so then later I was driving by years later and I drove by a truck that actually bought the blueberries. So I sold it to the truck and I kind of doubled that money by selling it to this truck at the side of the road who took them to a different place and charged more. And so then a couple years later, I thought, well, if they're doing that, I'm going to get a truck and I'm going to buy the blueberries and I'm going to deliver them to these other suppliers. And I did that. And then that's when I started to realize like I need to do something else along this line. And I've always had a passion for kitchens and design. And when I worked for a company for a very brief period doing kitchen design, it didn't work out for me because I had a hard time selling for the cost that they were asking me to sell it for. So I went to my boss, my mentor actually, and I said, I'm either going to get fired or I quit. And he said, well, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. I said, I just can't sell the jobs at the pricing you're asking. It's robbery. I can't do this. I don't feel good about it. And so I did. I went the next couple days later, I quit and I started my own business, never looked back. And so what it is I'm able to now I was able to help homeowners get their dream, get their kitchen that they wanted, but I didn't have to charge that crazy money because I didn't have all the overhead. I did a very simple showroom, very small, nothing fancy. And basically, my showroom was my car or my client's home. I would come bags and samples on site, and it built from there. And as I started to get more and more successful, I opened up a showroom, got bigger and bigger, and I thought, no, that's defeating what I want to do. So I scaled back down again and kept it that way. And I've been busy ever since. I'm probably one of the busiest kitchen companies in my area. And it's just from reputation, basically. And so that's the kitchen design girl. The other company, one of the other companies I have, it's called RevQ Systems. And I created RevQ Systems because not only did I, with working as a kitchen in the kitchen business, not only was it taking my time, but I felt like I wasn't making the money that I should be making. And I felt like I'm leaking revenue. Why? Where's this money going? And then I created a system that actually put a workflow in place. And I realized, okay, I've got a trigger point here, a trigger point here. And all these trigger points that I created essentially made me realize I'm losing money, I'm losing money, I'm losing money. So it's through the life cycle of an entire project. It's a little more complicated than that, but the gist of it is that. And then I just created this workflow. I automated some things, put it in place, and I realized this is working. I'm getting that revenue back and my time is mine again. And yeah, and then I shared it with a few colleagues in the business. They loved it. And then I thought, oh, I could have bottled this up and make that money. And that's what I did. And then now what I do is I help other companies, other construction and service trades not have to go through what I did. I just basically help them with their workflow and I consult them on how to do it and how to do what I did. And yeah, I think that
I mean,
answered.
I, it's a very it did answer. It's a very complex answer. It's a lot to.
I tried to simplify it a
I,
little, but there's a lot more
I
to it,
mean,
of course.
there's I mean, it's complex, but at the same time, it's not because for if someone was just getting started, they're gonna be like someone just getting started in the business. They're gonna be like, can't just go out there and do it. She did, which we understand. We completely
No.
understand. Um, but also it's about the drive, the motivation, and having that entrepreneur spirit. Um, unlike the airplane company that is no longer in business spirit. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
um, that's a
So
different.
can I just talk on that, what you just said, that as a new entrepreneur, you can't do it, but you can. If you have what like, if you have that motivation and you're ambitious enough, you really can. If it's all in your mind. If you have that plan in place, you can make it happen, anything. Like, my ideas come to me probably usually at 3, 4 in the morning when I'm supposed to be asleep. I get ideas, and that's just what I do. Most entrepreneurs do this. And as a newer, business owner, or somebody who's going through that, if you can dream it, don't sit on it and dream every day. Don't sit there and think, I'm gonna, and then wait a year, wait two, wait three. Do it. If it's in your mind at that moment, make it happen. See the end of that and
Absolutely.
make it happen. And I waited, and that's like for a lot of ideas. And I wish I hadn't, but I did. And knowing what I know, if I can go back to my younger self, I'd be telling myself, do it. It's in your mind today. Make it happen today. Do it.
Absolutely.
And you don't know how, figure it out.
And if you can't figure it out, hire someone that can help you figure
Hire
it out.
someone who can. Yes.
I won't promote myself on this one. Um,
Well, go ahead, promote yourself a little.
no, like there's a lot of people that goes out there and they need business plans. So, and I think that like they need business plans. They don't have that mission statement. That vision
Yeah.
statement is like we got this business, but we don't know what our 3 to 5 year plan is, and we don't know who our target audience is. Guess who can help you with that?
There you go. You got it.
It's the reason why my company is called the Business Blueprint. So it's
I love
right
it.
there in front of you.
I
So
love that.
and but no,
And
also
so And so on that note, people trying to start out, they need to have that foundation. That's exactly what you're saying you offer, is that foundation. A lot of people don't want to build that foundation. They want to start, in the middle or at the top. When that foundation isn't there, it's going to all crumble down on you. And so
yes,
starting with your vision and everything that you're saying you do, that's ideal. That's what we want. That's what you need. And then the sky's the limit after that.
right, because you wouldn't build a house on sand. So why would you build a business
That's
on a
it.
foundation that will ultimately get washed away?
Exactly.
And of course, my catchphrase, make it make sense, then make it work. Because I
Well,
love
I
saying
love
make it
that.
make
Yeah.
sense. So, but um, now there's two things that really stuck out to me so far, and it was you stating like, so where I'm from, where I'm at now, there's no blueberries. I can't just, I'm in the mountains. I can't, I probably can find some. It's probably gonna take me about a couple hours to go
Well,
find.
where there's blueberries, there's bears, so beware.
Oh, it's some bear. I'm in West Virginia. It's a lot of bears
Oh,
in
okay.
certain parts. Now I'm originally from South Carolina. Yeah, we had a few blueberries there. I never went and plucked none, but my grandma had a peach tree. Never really did anything with it. But, just having that mindset of, oh, this is what I want to do. And like, I can sell it to them, but they're going back and they're making probably twice as much as what they've paid me. Let's
Yes.
figure out how I can do this and cut out the middleman. And, that's the drive that a lot of new like people that want to become entrepreneurs and people that are entrepreneurs, this is the drive they have. And it's a great drive to have because it means that you're a go-getter and you know what you want out of life and out
Hmm.
of your business. The second thing that stuck out to me is when you said that a lot of your ideas come at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when you should be asleep. I kind of chuckled because I'm the exact same way. I'm probably wide awake at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and not only having business ideas, but also stressing like, did I respond to that email? Did I get this ready for today? Did I respond to that phone call? And it's fun being an entrepreneur. At the same time, it can have its moments where it's like, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? And there was a post on Facebook, Instagram that I saw, and it was a business was started by someone. Normally, the person behind the business was someone that was told that they wouldn't be able to do something or that they talk entirely too much. I'm both.
Yeah, but a good entrepreneur is that.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that I want to leave that one with that note. But also the next question is what what was the defining moment that changed the direction of your entrepreneurial journey? I know we kind of already touched on it a little bit, but
It was just realizing I'm burnt out. It hit me one day when I thought, you know what, I'm just packing this all in after you know what, even 10 years of doing this and successful enough, but I'm like, this just is too much. It's too tired. I'm burnt out. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to work for somebody else. And then I really, probably at 3 in the morning, thought, you know what? No, I worked too hard to shut this down. And so I think that really defined what I needed to do moving forward, which was to learn how to delegate and bring people on to help me do the right thing, let go of stuff, and trust what I built to date, trust what I did. And trusting myself was not, it wasn't it was hard because I second guess like, well, I know how to do it and it works for me, but I know how to fix things if it doesn't work and somebody else won't. And so all this went through my head and when I realized, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna end up crazy and it's not worth it. And that really defined moving forward and changed everything.
we are our own biggest, we are our
Critic.
own, yeah, critic, and we doubt ourselves a
Hmm.
lot. And even when we, as we said earlier, even when we know we're supposed to do something, we don't. We're that stubborn child that you tell not to touch the hot stove,
And touch the hot
and we
stove.
still touch it just to see what it feels like.
Just to see, are they right? Is it really like that?
And we feel like we gotta, and as entrepreneurs, we feel like we gotta have our hand in a cookie jar and in every cookie jar at that. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's
So
not a
I'll
good
tell you,
thing.
no, well, it's not. You have to really know how to channel where you want to do stuff. Like somebody like me, I'll come up with I don't have enough lifetimes to do every business I want to do. I have so many. And like the older I'm getting, the more business ideas I'm getting and the more clarity I'm getting. It's like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, and oh, there's this and this. And I have to stop myself because I will go forward. I will do it. And that's the opposite of what I need to do or anybody needs to do for that matter. And that's like you said, too many hands in the cookie jar is not good.
Right? And excuse me, and having those hands in the cookie jars, and but also we have to understand, like as entrepreneurs, we have to understand there's things that we're good at, and then there's things that we're not. And
Yes.
the ones that we're not, oh, it shows quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yes.
Um, and you're like, oh, I need to delegate this, but we also kind of have that. Me personally, I can't speak for anyone else. Have that problem with I'm patient, but at the same time, I'm not patient. I got to see what it looks like in the middle of the process. And I
But it's
think,
hard. It's hard to slow down and hurry up at the same time.
right, it's either you want to slow down or do you want to speed up? Do you want to slow down and make it meaningful, or do you want it to be rushed and when you put it out, everyone's talking about how bad it is or how bad it looks or the poor quality, i.e. the poor quality of it. So,
That's right. Yeah,
and so it should always be quality over quantity when it comes to certain things in the business. Um,
100%.
you you can push out 100 flyers, but what's the quality?
That's right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have another question for you. Um, I know that you stated, like, I know one of the hardest decisions that you made was probably going to your mentor and saying, "Hey, I can't do this." Or it may have been easy. I don't know. But what is one hard decision you've made as a founder that shaped your business or businesses?
The hardest decision, this is going to kind of sound strange, but deciding to keep going. That was difficult because I knew what that meant because I'd already been in my business for many years. And I knew when I had that moment where I knew like it's either I quit now and I move on to something else or I keep going. And so when I decided, let's keep going, Paula, let's do this. And I did, I realized I knew what was ahead because I knew what I needed to do to make things better for me, my business, and moving forward, which was delegating and letting go and, you putting the right people in the right place. So that was the second hardest, but the hardest was making that decision move forward. Just that decision. But once I made it, I was good to go.
You said it would sound weird. However, I don't think it is weird or strange because it's like even outside of business, we have to make that decision. Are we going to keep going or are we just going to give up? And ultimately, the easy route is to give up most times.
And most people do.
Right. And because especially when they're going into business and they're it's their first few months in business and they're marketing, they're promoting, but that first sale hasn't came in. They've been told no, no, no. And then the end of the first year, first fiscal year has came to an end. And they're in the red. They may have gotten a few sales, but not enough to get them out of the red. And so they're sitting there like, oh, this isn't working. I should give up. I mean, you can, but if you give up and then you decide, oh, I want to start up another business,
You're
you're
right
going through
back
this,
to garden.
you're going through this process again because study shows that a lot of businesses don't make their first true profit until, especially in the US, until year three.
Usually that, yeah, end of year two, year three, yep. And even then, it's still tough. It's still a tough go. It doesn't just happen.
Right. You gotta
Boring my dog.
you gotta sit there. You have to continue marketing. You have to continue promoting. You have to continue reaching out. If you see people like if they do something, if you have a lead generation and they do it, now you have their email. You may have their phone number possibly. You got to
Right,
reach out or can delegate it to someone to reach out to them for you. And you may still get a no, and they could have been a warm lead or it could have been a super hot lead, and them saying no. Like, no is probably it's it's a complete sentence. It's one of the hardest things to handle because it's in the same thing as rejection. However, a lot of people say no just because the timing isn't right sometimes, or they know that they probably aren't the right fit for you. But then also, there's times where people will say yes, and you have to kind of sit down and be like, this isn't going to work, and you have to tell them no.
right.
And because, yeah, it's about making money, but also at the same time, do you really want to be miserable in your own business because you decide to work with someone that you don't mesh well with?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And and then also, how hard are you been on yourself? Because as we stated, we're our own biggest critics, we're our own biggest doubters, and those voices will tell you you're not good enough, you should give up. Somebody's out there doing this that is that same thing as you, and they're doing better than you.
Right.
And I mean, they may be, but how long have they been doing it? You can't compare your day one
I
versus
just just going to say that you can't compare to any other business out there. You're your own business and you're going to take your own journey. And whatever your journey is, go with it.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing about it, nobody else is you. Nobody else can be you.
That's right.
They can try to mimic the the blueprint of who you are, but if they don't have the right ingredients,
That's
they,
right.
they can't perfect it.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
And so one of the um one of the final questions I have in closing as we get ready to come to a close soon. What is one principle or approach you rely on when making business decisions?
Always clarity. Always before I take any action, I need clarity on what is the situation? I need to be 100% clear before anything can happen, for sure.
And just to kind of follow up on that question, why is clarity before action so important? Why not take action and then get that clarity?
Because, well, that comes from experience because I used to take action first and think, do first, think later. And that ended up in disaster every single time because the decisions that I made without the clarity and the facts and everything did result in obviously wrong decisions because it would cost me money. It would cost the client, a hardship that probably shouldn't have happened had it been more clear. And so the clarity to move forward with any decision must be there.
Absolutely. And that's, guys, that's why we're saying the 3 to 5 year goal and the vision and the mission statement and knowing who your target audience and knowing and having your SWOT analysis. That's why it's so important because that gives you
Yes.
the clarity of the direction that you need to move in, but it also tells you who else is in that market and who are they
Yeah.
and who
And
they're going after.
yes, and so if we kind of step back a little bit to earlier on, I didn't, when I started my business, I get ideas and I just act on them. I'm impulse. I go, I don't need a business path. I don't, or a business plan. I don't need anything. I'm just doing it. And that's what I did. And that is not clarity at all. I didn't have that. I just made it. I just did it. And most people who take that approach, guess what? You're not going to be sitting here 30 plus years later saying a success story of your business. I'm just stubborn, I guess, but in the most part, I'm of the 1 percentile for sure with that. Because I had no right to succeed the way I did based on how I started out. I just jumped in 2 feet first, which is okay. That's how an entrepreneur thinks. But you better hope that you have your SWOT analysis in place. You better hope that you're in order. And moving forward, without that, again, back to the foundation, without that foundation, you're gonna sink. You're gonna sink.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned like jumping 2 feet in straight off the go because I mentioned like my first business back in 2018. That's exactly what I did because people was like, "Oh, you're good at what you do. No business plan, no nothing." Okay, we can make it look like a business. COVID happened 2 years later.
Yeah.
That's when I knew, and it was at that point it was too late. So when now that is why, like as you stated, if you jump in like head first or 2 feet in first and you don't have everything mapped out, most times you're not going to be sitting there with a success story.
Not.
My success story is the fact that I learned everything that I needed for a business to be successful based off a business that failed and realizing that I needed to understand how to do these things for myself
Yes.
and then implement them before I started offering them out to the world. And
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, yes. So that's my the failure story turned success story. I mean, it can be either or, but I took a
And
negative.
it can. I just my business stayed as it was for all of this time. Kitchens, design, the whole renovation thing. And I guess I ended up, I didn't fail, but I came darn close so many times. I guess I just kept going and going and going without that business plan, without my foundation. And I shouldn't, I should have, that should have just failed and I should have ventured into something different, but I didn't. Like that's just statistically, that's what happens. You fail at a business. Yeah, okay, that's done. I'll try something else. And then you move on, but you learn from the last business, but now your next business is something different. Well, guess what? That fails. I'm going to do something else. So it's not very often you find somebody in one business who fails, but in different ways, but still keeps going and going and going and going and persevering. And I think that the ultimate thing I could say to anybody starting out, don't let that first business go. If you believe in it strong enough, hang on to it because it's going to work. But it's when you walk away from it and okay, well, that was a fail. I'm going to try something different. That's that's just like a long road to what business is going to catch, what's going to work, what's finally going to stick. They're all going to require years of work, years of experience, years of, perseverance and, the ups and the downs, and you got to take them all together.
Right. Absolutely. One reason why I just ended my first business was moved different states. So I was like,
That's the thing. That's the
so
thing. Yeah.
it was, well, gotta kind of gotta let it go now. So,
That's okay. You're still going, so that's important. That's what counts.
and what was funny was I was a life coach in that one. I was a 20-year-old life
Oh,
coach. I'm a
20.
certified life coach, but I was 20 and people always ask me, what can a 20-year-old teach me that I don't already know about life?
Oof, probably more than they could imagine.
When you've been through certain stuff, oh, when
Yeah,
you've seen more life than what you that you wish you never saw, you teach a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
And my final question for you is, what is a mistake you consistently see entrepreneurs make, and how should it be approached instead?
I don't want to touch back on the letting go and the delegation, but that is the biggest one I see all the time. They don't let go. So that there's that. But I would say quitting and letting go because it gets a little tough, and they don't want to see the tough times through to see the end of the road. They quit too soon. And there's that. And then I really think that they work too hard, and then when they work that hard in their business and they're not really getting that freedom that they actually started their business from for, but they're struggling still, it's easy to walk away and say, forget it, I'm done, I'm not doing this because look how hard I'm working, and for what? I can't work any harder than I am. And then they walk away from it. And so I really would love to see entrepreneurs, younger, newer ones, starting saying, you know I am going to be able to go through this tough road. I'm going to pass through this. I'm going to be able to let go of things so that I can do what I'm planned, like have the freedom and stuff that I want.
Absolutely. I love all of that because, as we stated, we love to have our hands in the cookie jars and we feel like, but society will tell you that you need to work harder. And as we stated, yeah, there's hard work with it. There's a lot
Of
of
course.
dirty work, as I call it, that people don't want to do, those business plans and whatnot, and just getting yourself out there. But also at the same time, you have to understand how to work smart. You have to know when to delegate. And for any other new entrepreneurs or individuals that are thinking about starting their business, I just want to add this on. If you are working a 9 to 5 job or whatever shift it is, when you have that money left over, put it aside, put it in savings because then when you can you can hire someone to do the work that you don't want to do, but also start if you start up a LLC, it's not free. Depending on the state, there's a certain fee, and
Hmm.
um, and then certain states, you also have to pay for the doing business as name and the DBA, and
Yeah.
the only free thing that really comes with it is your EIN number. And but definitely put that money aside. And if you're working a full-time job, and for entrepreneurs that are listening, you're working a full-time job still, I got to give you props. I'm one of them that still works a full-time job and don't know when I'll ever stop working a full-time job because I love meeting new people and going to different states and just doing different things. But definitely allow yourself that time to relax, delegate. If you like, don't work a 12-hour shift at your job and then come home and work another 8 to 10 hours because you're just gonna, as Ms. Paula stated, you're gonna burn it. You're gonna burn yourself out, and you're gonna be like, "Well, this isn't working. I just want to give up." And now you're stuck in this repeating cycle of, "Well, that business didn't work, but I'm gonna go to the next one." Well, if you're not giving yourself that time to relax or to really and understand why you started this company in the first place, you're just gonna be like that hamster on the wheel, just constantly going in a circle with no destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that, um, I know I kind of ranted on that last part, and I do apologize to everyone
No.
listening
Hmm.
and to you. Uh,
No, that
but
was good.
I do want to ask, what is the best place for the listeners to find you?
So I am on Facebook. You can pick any one of my businesses, Kitchen Design Girl. I have another company called AI Adapted. I also have another company, my RevQ Systems. Usually Facebook Messenger, my personal Paula, it's actually Paula Norton and at Facebook, and you can find me there for sure.
Mhm. We will definitely put all the information inside of the description and the show notes. I want to thank you once again for being a guest on the show. And right before we wrap up, is there any last words that you would like to say to the listeners?
I think I said a lot. Probably, I think the biggest thing is, like I said, I love entrepreneurship and I really, really have a passion and like I really want the young ones starting out in this business. Don't give up. Keep going, but don't start a business, quit a business. Start a business, quit a business. Put yourself into one that you believe in, make it work, get the foundation, like the foundation that you can offer them. Take that, go with it. Really, really hone in on that. Make sure you believe in your business and you want it, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what people say. If you believe it and you keep going with it and you persevere past that 2 year mark, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it, but don't
Absolutely.
quit it and then give up and then start a new business. You're just gonna keep on that hamster wheel, and that's all you're gonna do. Because even with one business, you're still gonna be on a hamster wheel. Just stay on that same one. Don't switch to the next. And believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Just believe in yourself.
As in the words of Smash Mouth, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
Um, so with that, thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Founders Table podcast. I'm your host, DeShaun Williams, and today we have Miss Paula Norton on the show sharing a lot of gems and a lot of good information and experience with us. And we just want to thank you for being a guest on the show once again. And for
For
everyone
having me.
listening, you're absolutely welcome. And for everyone that's listening, remember, this is not goodbye. This is until next time. And we will see you next week on the Founders Table.